Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino. It's Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. People, it just doesn't stop. And maybe you can tell, but I'm kind of disgusted for a few reasons. Let's start off with why I am disgusted right now. The economic news is abysmal. We got more today, which I'm going to cover in a moment. People around the world are getting destroyed. They're getting strangled to death. Meanwhile, these mega banks, they keep reporting earnings better than expected, better than expected. So we have a situation here. We've been covering this over the past, I don't know, week with earnings now coming in almost a week now, where these mega banks are reaping incredible profits while people are getting destroyed. Does that seem fair to you? Why is this happening here? Well, it's pretty clear to me. It should be clear to you. We have a situation again where central banks are aggressively raising rates, and the storyline is they're doing this to control inflation, which you and I have known since day one would never work. It's a fable. It's a fairy tale. They are raising rates because they are trying to slow the economy, and the economy is already in free fall. They're trying to dramatically slow it from here by crushing the consumer. And this is exactly what's going on here. This is a fable. This is out of control, and no one's doing a damn thing about it except you and me. At least we're paying attention to what's going on, but the mainstream media keeps pushing the same nonsense. Oh yes, central banks they're raising rates. Let's talk about that. So for my friends out here in the UK, it's insane. No surprise to a single person who follows this blog here, but according to what's being reported this morning, UK inflation continues to surge, with food inflation outpacing everything. Let me explain this to you in case you don't know, and we've covered this from many months ago. They are weaponizing food. They've turned food into a weapon. They're going to turn resources into a weapon. What did Christine Lagargoyle, say just yesterday? That the financial system has been weaponized? Yes. Who's responsible for this, people? Who runs the economy? It's central banks. Who runs the markets? It's central banks. Who runs the entire freaking financial system? It's central banks, and they've weaponized the freaking system. What better way to bring people to their knees than to weaponize food? And with regard to food inflation and inflation in aggregate, you know this because I've been telling you since forever. We've covered it here a million times. We haven't seen a damn thing. Meanwhile, windfall profits for the banks. Windfall profits for the banks. How about that? I tell you, people, and it really gets under my skin. Just like you can't even understand. It makes me sick. So again, UK inflation is surging out of control, with food prices continuing to surge at their fastest pace in over 4 decades. It's unbelievable. Anyway, that's that piece of economic news, and of course we have a few other things here. So actually, before we even touch on that, are you watching the bond market? Bond yields are jumping. They are spiking as I am doing this video blog. We started to talk about this several days ago where I said there's a problem here. Well, the U.S. 10-year yield just jumped higher. The relative strength of the dollar is higher. The MMRI is sitting at 230 right now. And what is this doing? It looks like a pan sell-off. Trading doesn't start for about 37 minutes from the time I am doing this video blog, so things can change. But stock futures are under pressure. Gold and silver is under pressure. Crude oil is under pressure. Cryptocurrencies are under pressure. So a pan sell-off. What did we talk about yesterday? I was explaining that this market, first of all, it's just too stupid. Okay, it's defying gravity in the face of round after round after round after round of bad economic news. And why? Because central banks have been very successful in suppressing rates, but now we're watching bond yields rise around the freaking world here, and the market's saying, hold on a minute, something doesn't look good here. We are 20 points away. 20 points from 250, which is the first red line in the sand with regard to the MMRI. People, I'm going to urge you to pay attention to this. I left this free for all of you so you can pay attention to this. We don't have to even to pay a single dime for it. There is a link in the description of this video to the Mannarino market risk indicator, and it is climbing, reflecting what we're seeing here in the debt market. And the dollar being a unit of debt as well here. You do realize, and I've covered this a million times, that central banks, I want you to think about this again, and I've covered it, but I'm going to say it again. Central banks allow us, thank you very much, to work for a product that we don't even own. I'm talking about those bills that you like to see in your bank account, that you like to have in your pocket, okay, that you like to borrow from your credit cards and everywhere freaking else here. You don't own these things. We have the privilege of working for them like slaves, and they just lend them to us. Central banks lend us their currency that we owe back to them, that they create out of nothing. Imagine my shock. Imagine your shock. Who came up with this twisted system? Think about it. Think about what I am telling you, okay? Central banks control the world, and they are weaponizing not just the financial system like LaGargoyle said yesterday, but they're weaponizing food. And they're going to bring the world to its knees this way. Meanwhile, banks are reaping windfall profits. Why? Again, central banks raising rates, banks can charge more interest, they want people to continue to borrow. Why do you think, for example, they float out these CEOs of these banks on CNBC, Bloomberg, Fox Business, and they're telling you everything is fine. Oh, don't worry, the economy, fantastic, we're going to do great. They want you to go out and borrow. Do you think a banker, a single CEO from a Wall Street super bank is going to tell you not to borrow? I think we're all on top of this. How about this on the economic front? So 69% of the public believes that the economy is not doing very well. Meanwhile, what do we got? We got brain dead presidents, politicians and bankers telling us how great we're doing here. Oh, Bulltard. Oh yeah, I don't see a recession. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see that. You see, it's amazing. What do we live? It's 2 years now of temporary or transitory inflation, which you and I laughed at from day one. Where's the accountability? Remember Janet Yellen? Oh, yes, it's transitory. It's temporary. Don't worry about it. Really? Oh, how about they got it all wrong? Of course they didn't. They knew it from day one, people. You know how you and I knew that they knew it? Because we knew it. We talked about it right here. We laughed. The day that it was mentioned by some freak in the freak show that inflation was going to be temporary or transitory, you and I laughed at it. We laughed right here on this blog. We also laughed when they said, oh, we're going to raise rates, it's going to control inflation. No way. All this is doing is limiting the availability of credit to small businesses who are being wiped out and the consumer themselves who's being wiped out. That's all it's doing. Meanwhile, banks, windfall profits. Imagine my shock here, people. You can't make this stuff up. It's impossible to do. So here's another piece of economic news for you. So U.S. home prices fall at their fastest pace in 11 years. When was the last time, honestly, that you can think of that we've had a legitimate piece of good economic news? It just doesn't happen anymore. And it's an interesting phenomenon because generally bad economic news pushes the stock market higher. But today it looks like a pan sell-off, at least at the open. Things can change. Pan meaning everything. Stock futures lower, as I said. Gold and silver lower. Crude oil lower. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin lower this morning. Relative strength of the dollar higher, as I said. Keep your eyes on the debt market. Better yet, the MMRI, which is the greatest freaking, honestly, creation that I've ever come up with regard to tracking risk in this market, okay? We need to focus on these things, people, and we need to prepare for what's coming. Understanding, you and I, again, that the financial system has been weaponized. Christine LaGargoyle admits that. Understanding that food is being weaponized as well, and they're not done. I've been telling people, we've discussed it right here since I don't know how freaking long, that you're going to see things that you can't even believe moving forward here as central banks fulfill their end game to be the lenders and buyers of last resort, to place themselves at the highest echelon of power over the people here in of the world. That's what central banks are doing here. Okay, they are the overlords, and we are all the freaking servants to them. You understand? This is what they want, and they are working towards that goal, and it's becoming very, very real. All right, people, look, I don't know what else to tell you this morning. I think this has been an important video. If you agree, please, a thumbs up is so appreciated. These thumbs ups are very important, as I said. So please, give this video a thumbs up if you think it's worthwhile. Please share it. Please comment. I want to hear from you on this. Where did I get it wrong here? Where did I get it right? How do you feel? What are you seeing? Okay, forget about what the freaks in the freak show are going to try to dictate to you, because you know what they do. They go out there and they dictate your life to you and say, okay, forget about what you're seeing. This is what's really going on. Oh, really? Well, no, you're wrong. What we're saying is right. Are you kidding me? This has really got to be the most twisted freaking Twilight Zone environment in the history of the world. And it's about to get much, much worse. Much, much worse for the entire world population. I will see all of you later, people. 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, okay? That's it.